Hello everyone and welcome to Racing League Hub, a Remembrance Day Racing League Hub today. C4, round 12 I believe we're on now in Japan. So just make sure we get everything ready on screen for everyone. Racing League Hub, a Remembrance Day. And it looks like Sven's going to be the first out on the track to set a lap today. And it's nice to be back after having a week off. I wasn't able to provide the commentary in Imola. I know Fretti stepped up to the plate and provided some very, very decent comms in my absence. What would we do without him? So Suzuka, track that we are at today, 18 corners, and a lot of action. A couple of drivers going out, looks like on medium tyres to set their first lap. Definitely a track where you are likely to see some virtual safety cars, as we saw in C2 on a Tuesday night and in C3 as well. So here we are with Sven on board as they go across the line and start their first lap. We'll ride on board and stay on board with them, permitting they don't breach the track limits. It'll probably be a nice and cautious one to begin with. We want to make sure you set a lap. Sector 1, all about throttle control. How you can manage putting down the power. You don't want to put too much down, but you obviously do want to make sure you have got some overall speed, and Sven there has breached track limits, so this lap isn't going to count for them. And looks like they are going to approach RPM Dragos there. The car just disappearing as RPM Dragos already out of the session. That's the first driver out. I do think we might see some more throughout the session, if not in the race as well. And we have already got yellow flags in Sector 1. It looks like it's Philip Hogston. A very difficult part of the track, Sector 1. As we see Crispy Business attacking it, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Those curbs are lethal here in Suzuka. You want to make sure that you are not on the curbs, and very lucky not to have lost a tyre there is the Alpine driver. That's a Destroyer. First to set a lap there, fastest time of 1:30.8. Snell Henk, so you're right on board with, going across on a 1:31.4. See Berlin Blues taking a very wide line off the final bend. Actually, the penultimate bend even. So they are on the mediums, so very much just getting a feel of the track. I see Philip Hogston again facing the wrong way in Sector 1. It is a very difficult section, one of the most difficult sections of any track, and Philip Hodgson definitely feeling that now. And looks like we've got Jarno out of the session as well. I believe that is also in a similar section that we lost RPM Dragos down at turn 11, the hairpin. Jarno was able to set a lap. We have also lost Sven, and I think we've just lost Sven there in sector 1, which Ugler is going to be driving past. I don't know whether, I think the car might clear by the time we make it round. As you can just see there, Ugler taking a bit wide on turn 1, and that has breached track limits there. We've also got yellow flags in sector 3, but I think that's just drivers getting out of the way of each other. Let's see, who else have we got on the track? Philip Hodgson, we did see them spinning at turn 1. I would presume that they would come into the pits and fit some fresh tyres here. No, that Phil wants to stay out. He wants to set a lap time there on those soft tyres. We will ride with Phil through sector 1, see if we can spot where it's going wrong. See it extra cautious through turn 1, an early shift into 5th gear for extra traction. Nicely taken off of the curbs, but want to make sure you're optimising the speed still through the corners. But don't want to ride those curves, as they will make you spin. And then all about a careful acceleration round the long turn 7 for the sharp, nearly 90 degrees kink of turn 8. Up the hill into turn 11. We've lost a couple of drivers here so far already on the hairpin. Opts to keep it in 3rd and up to 4th. Best for traction. I'm sure we'll see most drivers dropping down to 2nd, maybe even 1st for the rotation on the car. As we've got Goon having the fastest time of the session so far of 1 minute 30.1. Interesting to see the two drivers behind Goon there, Huss and the Destroyer, both on the medium tyres for their time. So there's definitely a lot of time out there on the track. And this does look like a lot better lap from Philip Hodgson. Let's just hope he can keep it together around the final couple of bends. He knows there's going to be time to gain there, but wants to keep it safe. Wants to have a competitive time on the board. And it's going to be very competitive indeed. Puts Philip Hodgson in the Mercedes to 3rd place so far. No doubt we'll have an in-lap now and to get onto some fresh tyres. Speaking of fresh tyres, the Destroyer is on their out-lap and they are on soft tyres. Going to be hunting down Goon's fastest time and just passing Goon there for turn 9 as well. Looking for a gap on the circuit, and I think the Ferrari man has found just that. Or not, maybe wants a bit more of a gap on the track. Or maybe wants to be behind Goon so they can tell if they're going quicker or not. Pick up a bit of a slipstream off of Goon round the back section of the track. On their second lap, this could be quite interesting to watch between Goon and the Destroyer. These are two drivers that we do expect to be racing for the race win later on in the session, but for now it's all about track position. And Goon has a nice gap to Berlin Blues ahead of them there, so permitting there aren't any errors on the lap, it should be some good times that we will see from both the Red Bull and the Ferrari of the Destroyer, and even maybe a good time for Berlin Blues, who's got a nice bit of clean air in front of them too. So in comparison to Philip Hodgson there, riding through Goon, with Goon there around the first sector, you can see he's really pushing it a bit more, still stays off of the curbs in sector 1, but definitely on the power a lot more and a lot earlier than the Mercedes driver. And look at the gap that Goon's able to close on Berlin Blues already. That's going to slow them down. It's going to hold them up for the remainder of their lap. And the Destroyer breached track limits, so has completely backed out of their lap, and looks as though they got out of the way from Double in the McLaren, who was just behind them as well. And Goon got to be careful here. They might be the quicker driver, but Berlin Blues is on a hot lap as well, so can't get too frustrated. Might be worth just backing out of this one and going again a bit later on in the session, and that's exactly what they decided to do. They are not going to improve on that time, being that close behind another driver. They can't force their way past the driver as they're on the hot lap as well. So Ulster come into the pits and go for a fresh run. And at the moment, it looks as if their time is going to be a safe time so far. Goran Potner is out on a mission on the soft tyres. Currently doing a 1 minute 30.9. And the Annoyed Gamer picks up 5th position, staying on those medium tyres. I wonder if they're going to go for a soft run later on, or whether they are happy with running the mediums and starting the race maybe on the medium compound tyres. The results from last week out, we did have Goon take the win, and Huss has had an incident now. I don't know if they've retired or what has happened there, but Huss is out of the session, currently sitting second on the leaderboard. How long will that be for, as Goran Potter comes across the line? And Goran Potter does go second, so that's Huss down to third, so down to the second row of the grid. Goran Potter up to the front row of the grid. So some more points though last week for the Alpha Tauris. Huss and the Annoyed Gamer both on the podium. Goon taking the race win, and Goran Potter making some celebratory donuts in Sector 1 there after getting on the front row of the grid. They got loads of time to turn their car around safely and do so without any damage. It's a sight we are quite familiar with last week, with the top spots of Goon going, and then Huss and Annoyed Gamer on the podium as well. In terms of the championship, it's Goon who is leading the way by 30 points to the Annoyed Gamer. Huss is in third. Destroyer in fourth. The Destroyer who did join late in the season. Skipper and Goran Potner are still battling it out for 5th and 6th in the Drivers' Championship, as a Snell Hank and RPM Dragos for 7th and 8th. And RPM Dragos didn't set a time didn't set a time today in qualifying. They'll be looking for a much better race session. So very much his advantage, Snell Hank, in that battle. As we ride with Skipper. Skipper, a very consistent points scorer. Keeps himself out of trouble, but does make sure they finish strong. And a very comfortable banker of being in the points is the Red Bull driver. And doesn't look like they're going much faster here, but they might have had a poor end to the lap, so they could claw this one back. And did go faster there, but no improvement on the position. So still 7th for the Red Bull driver, who moves out of the way for their teammate in the sister Red Bull. Goon, as they now start their hot lap, they have got some clean air ahead of them. can they improve on that 1 minute 30.1 as we are inside of the 3-minute mark remaining of the session. So everyone's going to be giving it their all now. And Goon is up on their 10. A small improvement, but enough to break the 1 minute 30s if they continue on this form around the lap. Drops to second, stays in second for the exit of turn 11. Normally sees people shifting early up to third or fourth for the traction. Not Goon. They reckon they've got enough traction and got the ability to really push this car right around the corners, and knows it's going to stick. Nice cut of the chicane, and there it is, a 1 minute 29.8 from Goon. Enough to see them extend their lead to half a second. Graham Pottner does still occupy the front row. Can the Haas driver hold on to that position? They are in the pit, so they're not going to be going out and setting a faster time. Destroyer is on an out lap, and the Annoyed Gamer has switched to the soft tyres. See if they can make that advantage count, and they've got to gain a whole second to get to pole. And they are up on their time by 0.5. It's extra cautious for the chicane by the Annoyed Gamer, and it has cost them a lot of time. And they haven't improved on their time. The Destroyer has had an incident in Sector 1, which you can just see on the right hand side of the screen there as Snell Henk is going through. Snell Henk currently in 5th position. A very good qualifying for the Williams driver, who we did mention just the other week in Belgium is a driver on form, and really starting to feel comfortable in that Williams car is Snell Henk, starting to pick up quite a lot of points now. And it's very much what you need to do in the business end of the season. Runs a little bit wide around turn 11, but does get enough traction to pull off the exit, and will benefit from that as we go around the long left at the end of Sector 2. It's a little bit wide, doesn't come in too much for the apex, but still gets a good run out. And there's a slight improvement on their time at the moment, but we'll see if they make much. It looks like they're going to back out of this, which is very interesting to see from the Williams driver. I believe they were slightly up on their time, and clearly they must have absolutely nailed the final sector, because they are not even going to try and go over the line and beat it. The Annoyed Gamer, do you think they might have pulled out of their lap to stay on the medium tyres? Could that have been going through the mind of the AlphaTauri driver? Who knows, but that's the Annoyed Gamer finishing in 7th. Ugler has breached track limits. Double did not improve on their time. And I believe that is going to be everybody. We've just got to wait for Ugler to drive around, and we'll get a confirmation of the grid order. And as we wait for that, it's a good time to say to the chat, for everyone watching here, who do we reckon is going to win this one here in Japan? And what's our hot takes in regards to the circuit? It would also be good to hear everyone's views on the latest Racing League Hub news, with next season being on Tuesdays, and also further information about the 5-lap race madness that's going to be going on. Right, so there we have the confirmation of the qualifying order. We've got Goon on pole, Goran Pottner in second, third is Haas, fourth Philip Hogston, Snell Henk in 5th, the Destroyer in 6th, and our game is 7th, Skipper in 8th, Jono in 9th, Sven in 10th, and 11th was Ugla, 12th was Goey in 14th, 13th even we have Double, 14th was Crispy Business in the Alpine. In 15th we have Berlin Blues, and 16th, crashing at turn 11 very early on in the qualifying session, is RPM Dragos. So as we mentioned, it's definitely a track where finishing is the priority. To finish first, you must first of all finish. It's definitely a track where we probably will see a couple of maybe safety cars, maybe virtual safety cars. Especially as drivers push each other to the limits around Sector 1. And here we have the formation lap where the drivers are able to get some heat into the tyres. Also gives me an opportunity to discuss the tyre selections that have been made out on the circuit. So we have got Haas in a very good position there on the medium tyres, and it's going to be both AlphaTauri. Oh, we've got the annoying game already off the track. Doesn't look like there's any damage, but not what you want to do on a formation lap. Right, both the AlphaTauri starting on the medium tyres, as Goon starts on the softs. Grand Plotner also on the softs. Front row of the grid, I believe that's their best qualifying to date. Philip Hogston was having some difficulties round Sector 1 early on in the session, but still able to secure the second row on the grid. Doesn't look like we are going to be joined by their teammates Apex Motoring Club tonight. I believe they've been caught up on their way to the grid. Snell Henk on the soft tyres, starting in 5th, the Destroyer, as we mentioned already, the Annoyed Gamer, both on medium tyres. Skipper on soft tyres, looking to get past both the Destroyer and the Annoyed Gamer very early on. But it's definitely not two drivers you want to be trying to get past. Jono is in 9th on those soft tyres with Sven giving them company. Also have Ugla forming a nice Aston sandwich for Sven. Goey is in 12th on soft tyres. Double decides to go for the medium tyres in 13th. Crispy Business and Berlin Blues looking to make some early moves on the softs, and RPM Dragos going for the long game. And we've got some an incident there as they form the grid with Jono and Sven being sent to the grid for being naughty boys. So Ugla picking up a time penalty early on. The Destroyer clipping the inside of 10-11, spinning them around. And again, we've got yellow flags in Sector 1. It's Sven who is off the circuit. And looks like they haven't got too much damage, so they'll be continuing rounds. They are missing a bit of an end plate there on the front wing. Not something you want as you go through Sector 1. A couple of drivers into the pits early on. The Destroyer, as we did see them have a bit of a spin. Goey, RPM, Dragos and Crispy Business and Ugla all in the pits as well. So here we see a good battle going on for the annoyed gamer. Takes it down, Philip Hogston down the main straight. We have got yellow flags in Sector 2. Will the annoyed gamer think about a move? Sticks there a bit too far back. Philip Hogston is on the soft tyres. The annoyed gamer is on the mediums. As Double comes into the pits, I believe they might have some damage, and Sven also in the pits with their damage. We haven't lost any drivers yet. I do say yet, so you never know with Suzuka. A very difficult circuit. But a good start from Goon there, picking up 2 seconds already on Goran Potner. Goran Potner, who's managed to get out of DRS range from Huss, though. Huss definitely wants to stay within that on the medium tyres. Doesn't want to drop too far back. But Snell Henk also a fantastic start. Getting around the outside of Philip Hogston into turn 1. And that is Snell Henk currently running in 4th position. Now with DRS this lap, will the annoyed gamer be close enough and be thinking about a move? We have lost the driver. It's Sven at Sector 1. Sven has is out of session there. Virtual safety car. Just wondered if we could see anything from as Ugla went past the incident, but it doesn't look like we have. Got to be careful with the virtual safety car around Sector 1. It is very slow. So drivers got to make sure that they stay within the delta times. I don't know whether that's Goran Potner backing up quite a lot under the virtual safety car, or whether there was an incident just before that, but Huss definitely a lot closer. That gap has just gone up, so I think that's just the Haas driver backing up under the virtual safety car, and that's now ended, and the gap is around 1 second, so very much what things were like before. But Snell Henk has dropped off from Haas. But on the soft tyres, I'm sure they will catch up again. Phil Hogston has dropped off quite a bit to the back of the Williams. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. It's the Destroyer. It's not been a good start to their race tonight. And it's getting worse for the Ferrari driver, having a spin at Sector 1, just like Double currently is. So they are missing an end plate and making quite a meal out of this. Returning to the track, we'll just make sure that they are back on the track safely before Ugla comes around. And Huss has done some catching on Goran Potner there. Huss within DRS range of the Haas. think Double might have had another incident. Looks like the drivers at the back of the pack are going to be lapped sometime soon. So, see, there is some damage on the front wing for the McLaren driver. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. Doesn't look like any driver has spun. As you can see, riding on board with Goon, they can already start to see every now and then the back of the McLaren. We have got an incident, crispy business, and we're just approaching the section of the track where the incident is, turn 14, and it looks like they are just running on the grass, virtually on the right hand side of the screen, but they seem to be okay. They'll be losing a lot of time if they don't head back to the track, which they have now done. As we see Double moving out of the way to let some of the drivers get past them as well as they go into the pit lane. RPM Dragos, after that nightmare start to proceedings with horrible qualifying, as we just see Huss got past Goran Potner there. As an overtake done into turn number 1. But RPM Dragos is closing down on Goey. Oh, nearly losing it. But manages to hold it well, the Alfa Romeo driver. Yeah, very hard to run close with another driver here at Suzuka. Hard to keep momentum and stay behind. And very much is shown there by RPM Dragos running in the dirty air of Goey. If you're not making the move straight away, it can be hard to stay within DRS of that driver ahead, especially through sector 1. We have got another virtual safety car. I wonder what this is for. Whatever it was, the incident has now cleared. So we will obviously just go through the order under this virtual safety car. So we have got Goon, who pulled out a nice 3-second advantage to Goran Potner, who just got overtaken on the last lap by Huss. And we're back to racing speed. Goran Potner is in 3rd on those soft tyres. Will be no doubt trying to keep the pace with the Alpha Tauri driver Huss. But you can't ever rule out Snell Hank. Very consistent, as we have got yellow flags in sector 1 as Ugler is off the track. And there you can see on the left hand side of the screen is Ugler. And that's the end of the Aston Martin's race today. So we've got Goran Potner and Snell Hank, both within DRS range of the driver ahead. Jarno opts to pit and go for the hard tyres, making them last till the end of the race, barring any safety cars. And Goran Potner has been dropped by Huss there. Goran Potner outside of DRS range, so they're not going to get a benefit themselves, but Snell Hank will. Snell Hank might be smelling a podium here. Making sure they keep their wheels pointing the right way. They could be on for a move, just like RPM Dragos is eyeing up one on Jarno. One thing that was very apparent on racing the track on Tuesday, coming out of the pit lane. It's very hard coming out of the pit lane because the tyres not up to temperature. And very easy to spin and lose it around turn 1 and around any part of first sector. Here we go. Snell Hank up the inside of turn 1, gets the move done before we even start the corner there. And Goran Potner slotting in behind. Now we have got Double having a spin around turn 17, I believe. And turn 14 even. As you see, RPM Dragos hunting down the Aston Martin, who is on those hard tyres. Double has retired from the session, and we have got a full safety car for that one. Double has lost it there on the circuit, has lost the front left wheel, and a very interesting line by RPM Dragos there. I'm not entirely sure what happened for the Alfa Romeo driver, but they have dropped off considerably to Jarno as well. It's a very interesting thing you don't always see. A driver coming fully off the circuit. Don't know if they got a warning for track limits either there. So 8 laps in, and we are 3 drivers out, and this would be a good time to just double check the penalties. Slightly Crispy Business on a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and I think Crispy Business nearly made contact there to Skipper in the Red Bull. It's not what you want to be doing on the under a safety car. Snell Henk also doing not what you want to do on a safety car, and Snell Henk, that's not what you want to do if you want to be getting a podium come the end of the race. Speeding in the pit lane. 5-second time penalty for the Williams driver. And everyone going into the pit, someone who doesn't need to pit because they chose the medium tyres to start with, is the Annoyed Gamer. And they're now up to second on the track with Huss, their teammate. So he's an AlphaTauri. Look, oh no! I think he's got a bit of time here, does the Annoyed Gamer, to return back to the track. But I think they could get overtaken. They have been overtaken by Goon. Snell Henk has got past the AlphaTauri as well. Philip Hogston's got past the AlphaTauri. A drive-through penalty for Berlin Blues. I believe that's for speeding under the safety car. But what a disaster for the AlphaTauri driver, Annoyed Gamer. We know that that sector is dangerous, sector 1, but under a safety car to be spinning it there, ruining the advantage of staying on the medium tyres, starting on the medium tyres I should say. And down to 6th position with it all to do again is the Annoyed Gamer. So Goon opting for the hard compound tyres. Hard tyres are definitely slower around the circuits than the mediums. That's very apparent, and I'm sure we will see that later on throughout the race. I do think the strategy here is a medium soft or a soft medium. So we do just double check the tyre situation. So Snell, Henk and Gordon Potner thinking they can make the mediums last. Gordon Potner in a very good position now. Philip Hoxton's going to try and make those hard tyres last. We definitely think the hard tyres will last the remaining 17 laps. With the pit window being around the 10th and 11th lap and there being a couple of laps under a safety car, you do question why not jump onto the medium tyres now. There's always another chance of a virtual safety car or a safety car later on in the race, so definitely saves you the tyre wear there. So you just see the position changes. It's been a good recovery drive for RPM Dragos, now in 10th position. And we'll just double check that they are on the tyres that they started on, the medium tyres. The Gamer is still up 1 position from the start of the race. However, all the drivers around him have pitted. The Annoyed Gamer decided not to, but has spun under the safety car, resulting in them being in 6th position. I better not mention too much more, or I won't get an invite to the commentary next week. Snell Henk put themselves in a very good position, but sped in the pit lane, so has picked up a 5-second time penalty. They'll be hoping that there is another safety car later on so they can serve that penalty and not lose too much on the track. But they have gone on to the medium tyres. Quite a late call, but we have got a safety car in this lap, and as the drivers all back up, we have got some penalties being dished out there for contact. Snell Henk, Goran Potner, Crispy Business all receiving penalties. Huss has gone. Snell Henk is right on the back of Goon here, and Snell Henk going to be forced around the outside of turn 1. Goon holding that track position, defending it hard and well. They've got some fresh tyres. Snell Henk on the quicker tyres though, looking to make the move straight away. We very nearly saw a fantastic move into turn 1 by Snell Henk, but that was well defended by Goon, holding the inside line. The Destroyer is on the back of the Annoyed Gamer. The Annoyed Gamer is moving gingerly around sector 1. They know what happened last time they were around sector 1, so they're trying to take it with caution, and the Destroyer does get past them before turn 8. And the Destroyer on a bit of a mission here, as right onto the back of Philip Hogston. Will we see a move before turns 13 and 14? The Ferrari right on the back of the Mercedes, and they've positioned themselves on the inside of turn 13. They are left room, but are giving a bit of a squeeze. We are going to see them rise side by side. The Destroyer making sure they're leaving enough room for Philip Hogston. Philip Hogston leaving enough room for the Destroyer. It's all fair racing. It's what we do like to see, racing side by side. And it's a very good racing at that. Very good defending from Philip Hogston. And wise decision by the Destroyer to not go too much, but does think about a lunge around the outside of the chicane and does make the move stick. There might have been a bit of contact. They are leaving enough room for Philip Hogston to potentially come back in it. There's no DRS, and the Annoyed Gamer says, I want some of this as well. The Annoyed Gamer looking to go around the outside. There is contact between the Destroyer and the Annoyed Gamer. The Destroyer definitely moved across there. Philip Hogston's going to go up the inside of the Destroyer around turn 1, and we're back to where we were at the start of the last lap. Philip Hogston ahead of the Destroyer with the Annoyed Gamer behind it. The Destroyer has lost it in sector 1. The Destroyer and the Ferrari, I don't know whether they got a bit on the curve or a bit too close to the driver ahead. We did mention earlier it's a difficult circuit to follow the driver ahead, and there the Destroyer finding that out and spinning in sector 1. No yellow flag, so the driver is continuing round on the circuit. As you can see, the Destroyer is in 10th now, running on the track, and the Annoyed Gamer is now going to be hunting down Philip Hogston. And the Destroyer has had another incident at the exit of turn 8. We have had a safety car on the track, so the tyres clearly lit up, and there is the Destroyer in the barrier there. What a shame. We've looked to have some really interesting action there on that last lap, all from the Destroyer. And commiserations to the Ferrari driver, who looked to have a fantastic safety car restart there, but unfortunately got caught up in some contact and got caught up spinning in sector 1. See those tyres being a bit too hot, and are now out of the session. Berlin Blues, their teammate, obviously has the drive-through penalty, so won't be able to serve under a safety car. But this is a good opportunity for some of the drivers to serve their penalties, like the Annoyed Gamer. Whether they meant to have these penalties or not, they might have been able to stay out on the track, and they could have gone to the stewards afterwards, but the Annoyed Gamer hadn't pitted, so this is an opportunity for the Annoyed Gamer to get those soft tyres on. I don't think that the soft tyres are going to last the rest of the race though. That is going to be a big ask. A nice 14 laps, so yes, we are having 2 or 3 under the safety car here, so they might be able to make it to the end of the race. They're not probably hoping for another safety car along the way as well. Snell Hanks staying out on the track, decides not to serve any of their time penalties. They don't have to. If they don't feel that they deserve the penalties, they can always go to the stewards and see if they can be removed. But we are now down to just 12 drivers. And after the round of pit stops, Huss hasn't stopped. So it does look like Goon is going to be in the lead again, with Snell Hank chasing them down. So where we were at the start of the last safety car, where Snell Hank nearly got past Goon on turn 1. Goon being on the hard tyres, difficult to get tyre temperature into those hard tyres under the safety car, and also just a slower tyre in general around the circuit. Snell Hank under the safety car is going to be preserving these mediums as well, so these mediums will last to the end of the race now on Snell Hank's car. Faster tyres. Can they get past the Red Bull, the championship leader Goon? That could be interesting one to keep an eye on. The only driver to go to the soft tyres is the Annoyed Gamer. It's quite an early call, but I reckon the soft tyres can do around 11 laps with a full tank of fuel. We are now just under a half tank of fuel there now, and Annoyed Gamer looking to make them last 14 laps with some under a safety car. I think it could be one thing to watch as well, as the Annoyed Gamer tries to claw back some of the positions lost after that horrendous spin under the safety car that they had last a couple of laps to go. Philip Hogston in 4th position. So Philip taking quite a cautious approach with the circuit. I'm sure they won't mind me saying that, but you've got to make sure you keep all 4 wheels pointing in the right direction, and that is why the Mercedes man is in 4th, and that's why the Annoyed Gamer and the Destroyer found it difficult to overtake the Mercedes man. They're going to be cautious, but they're going to race hard and fair still, and they position themselves very well through turns 13 and 14 to defend from the Destroyer. Late lunge into the ending chicane of the lap, but Philip Hobson able to make the move around turn 1 up the inside and get the positions back, all from being safe, being cautious, and taking their time to eye up the situation, eye up the opportunity. Skipper, one person I mentioned earlier, always worth putting money on that they're going to find themselves in that top 10, and there they are in 5th position. Another very solid drive from the Red Bull driver, always good at scoring points for their team. We'll be looking, no doubt, at the drivers ahead. Snell Hank and Philip Hogston thinking, I've been ahead of these drivers most of the season. Can I get past them here, and can I get a podium? Yes, Skipper, you might be able to. So that's a battle that we are also going to keep an eye on. Safety car is in this lap. Another very late call that. Jarno's up 3 places and Berlin Blues up 8 places. But here we go. Let's close that menu down. In fact, I do want to make sure we have got the tyres being shown there. Huss has gone. They haven't got as good a getaway as last time. Snell Hank not as close to Goon this time around. Jarno thinking about a move on Skipper. Decides against it. No, driver's going excruciatingly wide on turn 1 as the Annoyed Gamer is on those soft tyres, so has the grip and has the speed, as you can see there, comparison to Jarno on the older hard tyres. The Annoyed Gamer definitely has the tyre temperature as well as the grip, and we see a bit of a bold move into turn 8. No, not going to have that. Maybe one up into the run to turn 10 and 11. Jarno is defending it, but they are going to be taking quite a wide line there, which does give an opportunity for the Annoyed Gamer. So I'm having that opportunity. You left me far too much of a window, and there we are, the annoyed gamer going straight through that. Goon using a lot of that ERS to stay close to Huss. They are closing in on the AlphaTauri driver, using the slipstream to full effect. Maybe a warning for track limits there for Goon. But it's all worth it if you don't get a penalty, and all worth it if you can get the race lead. I think they're going to be too far back to make a move here, but maybe not too far back to put some pressure on Huss. Three-second time penalty for Crispy Business. Multiple warnings on track limits. Now, Skipper could do their teammate a whole world of favours here, as Skipper is the next up the road for the annoyed gamer, who is flying on those soft tyres. And I'm sure Goon will appreciate if Skipper holds up his championship rival. But, we have got a real race going on here for the podium positions, and Goon is still very close to Huss, and Snell Hank is keeping the pace with the two drivers ahead of them. And Goon has got to be careful not to use too much ERS, but does want to make sure the gap is as close as possible. And it's a good exit from Huss. DRS is now enabled, so it won't be for this lap, but for the next time round, Goon will have DRS, and so will Snell Hank, as the annoyed gamer has got past Skipper in the run to turn 1. As Jono picks up a time penalty, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. So we've got 10 laps remaining. And who are we going to put our money on? This could go any way. Huss will have to pit. They have not pit yet, and they're on 16-lap-old medium tyres, but I'm sure they're looking for the gaps to appear and for an opportunity to go into the pits. As it stands, I think Huss will drop to 10th on the track if they go into the pits now, so not where they want to be, so they are definitely going to stay out on the track and keep things going. As I think we have an incident with the annoyed gamer on the last lap. They've dropped to 9th position behind RPM Dragos and Goran Potner. It's a difficult circuit, even for the best drivers, and the annoyed gamer finding that one out for certain. Huss setting fastest laps of 1:32.3. Goon isn't too far off of that pace either. As we join the DRS train, the annoyed gamer trying to get past Goran Potner. Goran Potner has got DRS open themselves, nearly contact around turn 1, as RPM Dragos is looking at a move on Jono as well. The annoyed gamer there in the background, still on the back of Goran Potner. And Jono has lost it, which sees RPM Dragos get past. I think Jono will be able to recover that. That's all put under pressure from RPM Dragos. That's what the pressure can do, especially around Sector 1. And Goran Potner and the annoyed gamer both catching up to RPM Dragos. Just wonder if he's got any damage. Doesn't look like they have any damage, so I think it was just a spin for Jono. You see Goon and Snell Henk dropping out of DRS range of each other, And the Annoyed Gamer looks to be one of the only drivers who's going to get DRS, as is Graham Potner though. This will make the move a lot harder for the AlphaTauri driver, as we ride on board with the AlphaTauri driver as they go around 16, 17 and 18. A great exit from Graham Potner. Graham Potner does not have DRS by the looks of things, so this could be quite close, and there is a speed advantage. The Annoyed Gamer thinks about moving to the inside. Graham Potner late on the brakes, opted to ride it out around the outside and makes it last, as Annoyed Gamer does get on the inside corner, doesn't want to be on them, as they're very slippy on this track, and you don't want to be facing the wrong way at all. Oh, the Annoyed Gamer nearly losing it round turn 7. It's a very difficult corner in regards to when to put the foot down. Put the foot down a little bit too early there, and the car nearly kicked him out. So Haas opening up a gap of 1.6 seconds to our provisional leader Goon, as Haas does still need to pit. Snell Henk has dropped back a further 2 seconds as well. So the gaps are starting to appear for our race leader. He might be thinking about coming into the pits sometime soon. As take 7, I think this is, for the Annoyed Gamer. Now Graham Potner has got DRS this time, so it will be a lot harder for the Annoyed Gamer to close the gap and make a move, but we will see a bit of a train going on here behind RPM Dragos, unless they can get within DRS of Skipper. You can see how much the Annoyed Gamer is having to fight it round sector 1, being in the dirty air of that Haas. And the gap's appearing from all the drivers there, as Graham Potner has just dropped out of DRS from RPM Dragos. I'm not sure if that's a common theme or not, whether Graham Potner has a very good middle sector, which it looks to be the case, because Graham Potner is already inside of DRS again for RPM Dragos. Annoyed Gamer thinking about a move down the back straight. It's not going to think about going around the outside, are they? Decides against that, decides they're going to go to a risk position, and our race leader Haas is now in the pit, so this could be interesting as to where Haas comes out. We know they're currently the fastest driver on the track. They are going to go onto the soft tyres and no doubt smash their fastest time on the track, but it looks like it's going to be behind this battle here. And here we go, the Annoyed Gamer up the inside, and I think they're comfortably ahead, and they are well ahead into turn 1, ahead of Graham Potner. Bit of a shame that we don't get a fantastic camera angle for turn 1, as that's where a lot of the moves seem to be happening. Speaking of moves, making moves is RPM Dragos. They are right on the back of Skipper. RPM Dragos, remember, crashed out in qualifying, so did start in 16th. They are now in 5th. A fantastic and inspired drive from the Alfa Romeo driver. And hunting down the Red Bull for could be a 4th place finish. Snell Henk obviously has got a time penalty, so it could well be a podium come the end of the race for RPM Dragos, who is going to obviously be under pressure themselves from the Annoyed Gamer, who's on a bit of a charge. Every time they have been on a charge, something else has happened to them, so they're having a bit of a race to forget at the moment, but they have provided some fantastic viewing for us, as they're going to have another go of DRS on RPM Dragos, this time for 5th position. Philip Hoxton is was within DRS range there of Snell Henk, but that gap Seems to have opened up a bit. This is an opportunity for the Annoyed Gamer to get past RPM Dragos. The Annoyed Gamer switches to the inside, they're side by side, and the Annoyed Gamer on the inside curb spins a little bit. RPM Dragos wasn't going to give that up too easily, stuck around the outside, and the Annoyed Gamer on the curbs again and spins again, holds the position to Goran Potner. Has it all to do again, and we expect RPM Dragos to now be catching Skipper and will be within DRS, which will make the overtake a lot harder for the AlphaTauri driver. Philip Hogston chasing down Snell Henk, who has got a time penalty. It's 10 seconds. One of the penalties we're not sure too much about, as it was contact under a safety car, but the first penalty definitely will stand 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. It's still been a very good drive from both Snell Henk and Philip Hogston, who have pulled pulled 6 seconds ahead of Skipper. So if there is only one time penalty for Snell Henk, they could well still be looking at a podium. So we have got yellow flags. Sector 2. It's crispy business. And here we are. Haas is flying out there on the fresh soft tyres. Jarno has also come in for fresh soft tyres, so may also be challenging the fastest time of the race. It won't be too long until Haas starts to see the Goran Potner as well as their teammate, the Annoyed Gamer. The Annoyed Gamer, who is well within RPM Dragos even well within DRS now of Skipper, as we expected, which will make the overtake on RPM Dragos a lot harder for the Annoyed Gamer. What will make it even harder is if RPM Dragos puts another car between them, and that will come at Skipper's expense here. We have got yellow flags in Sector 1. That is crispy business out of the session. We have got a safety car. Now this throws something into the mix. So Snell Henk gets the opportunity to serve the 5 seconds that one of the 5 seconds that they've picked up if they want to, and they are going to. They're going to go to the soft tyres and serve one of those 5 seconds. No doubt they'll go to the stewards about the second. Philip Hogston also in the pits. Skipper goes to track position, so we are going to have a new leader of the race. It's going to be Skipper on the hard tyres. A hard track to overtake is Suzuka. They have got RPM Dragos who's going to help them here, but RPM Dragos probably thinking they can get past the Red Bull driver. RPM Dragos does also have a 3-second time penalty, so not what they want to see. We're probably going to get one lap at this as they go across the line, so definitely worth staying out on the track in hindsight. Looking at that one, there's only going to be one lap probably of racing after a couple of laps under the safety car. If you're coming into the pits, you've got to make your overtakes quick. Haas has now moved up to third. A very good call to stay out. Annoyed Gamer decides to go into the pits. Granted, they have spun, those tyres are probably very worn, so it goes on to fresh set of softs. Snell Henk now running in 7th after serving one of their time penalties. Goey stays out. Sensible decision there. And it's only going to be one lap. You might lose a place, but it's better than being 5 places down and only gaining 1 place. So we do expect there to be an aggressive restart from the safety car, as drivers aren't going to have DRS and they are going to have to go for it if they're going to make the late pit call really count for them. Let's see a couple more people joining the stream. What do you guys think, watching from home? Was it a correct call to come into the pits, get on the soft tyres, get a bit more of an advantage around the bends, maybe get overtakes done in corners that we won't normally see. It opens up the track a lot more for them, but it still is a very hard circuit to overtake in, and Skipper's going to find themselves in a very good position here, and Skipper may take home the race victory, especially with RPM Dragos behind them. RPM Dragos, they might be thinking about making a move on Skipper, but they've got drivers on the soft tyres behind them, so they're going to have to be occupied with defending. Vinicius Parzanini, sorry I've mispronounced that, they reckon that Japan is a hard track to overtake, so I think they think that Skipper and RPM Dragons have got it right here. And I think that's Crispy Business who is gutted. Crispy Business, I know obviously you're out of the session now, but what do you think about the session? What do you think about who's going to win this? The last couple of laps, we've still got the safety car on the track. I expect the safety car to come in this lap. We're going to have a 2-lap shootout. So he doesn't think it's a good idea. I don't know whether that's to stay out on the track or to go to the to soft tyres. Maybe it's a safe bet, and maybe he's saying both. Both aren't a good idea. Well, we'll comment after the race and tell you what the correct idea was, and that'll be for the race winner. So, Skipper, RPM Dragos taking an adventurous line here. It's interesting that Haas didn't actually go for the overtake. There's a lot of respect there. Go for soft is what Vinicius is saying. Chance it and go for the softs. Well, Haas didn't need to. Haas pitted earlier on. So saying should have stayed out. It's a hard track to overtake, so should have stayed on the circuit. That's very much what I was thinking. There's not too many overtaking opportunities. One is on the end of the starting straight, so you're going to be under the safety car restart. No one's going to get you there. But a lap later, you're going to have one lap to defend into turn 1. But it is this back straight, this back section of the track, and the sketchiness of sector 1, which Skipper and RPM Dragons are going to have squeaky bum time around sector 1 and down the back sector here. But they all pull away here on the safety car restart, is what we expect. Obviously they get to control the pace, Skipper does. But Haas and Goon will be no doubt looking to make some moves, and Goon and Haas might be in fact racing each other when it comes to sector 1. So Skipper is going to get us going. Skipper has gone. He's backed up RPM Dragos, and everyone in fact is gaining on Skipper. This was a poor restart for them, but they have held the position. Haas has gone for a little bit of a spin in turn 1. They hold it. They have held it, but they have dropped back, and they have held up Goon as well. And Goey, so they've drifted a bit wide, so Snell, Henk and Philip Hoxton have got past them. So it's going to be an aggressive safety car restart, and that's very much what we are going to have here. The Annoyed Gamer getting past Goey as well. Goey thinking about a move coming on, and the Annoyed Gamer is a bit all over the place. Nearly contact, that does force Goey wide, which leads their teammate Goran Podler to get through. A horrible restart for Goey, as Goon's still battling out with Haas. Both drivers looking to get past the driver ahead of them, so that's Goon looking to get past Haas, Haas looking to get past RPM Dragos. And here is Haas chasing down the AlphaTauri. This is a great opportunity for Skipper, who is pulling away over a second ahead of the Alfa Romeo, who isn't having the best restart so far because they're having to defend from the drivers on the soft. So we're going to approach the line here. This is the overtaking opportunity. We're talking about one lap going into that turn 1. Haas thinking about a dive a dive kind of into the final chicane, maybe subsidise their opportunity going into the start-finish straight. And Goon picks up a great run. Is Goon going to think about making maybe a move into turn 1? It's a bit too far back. Again, Goon on the inside this time, clips the curb, manages to hold it. Philip Hogston got a good view of that, but it isn't close enough to take advantage. And is that the window of opportunity gone, barring any disaster around sector 1? one driver who has had a fair amount of them is the Annoyed Gamer, who's still having difficulties round turn 7. And we have got a spinner. Philip Hogston is out, and the Annoyed Gamer's had a spin as well. The Jono's pulling through. The Annoyed Gamer having to get out of the way of some of the other drivers. I think we've got another driver caught up in there as well. So the Annoyed Gamer and Philip Hogston both there. Goran Potter getting past Berlin Blues, who's gone very wide. Turn 11. Haas is right on the back of Skipper. This is one opportunity at it, and one opportunity at it only. Philip Hogston, I think they're just going to coast through and take the 11th place finish. Haas, I think, is too far back here. So unless they do a late dive, they're out of the VRS. Skipper just going to be parking it on the corners here, making sure Haas doesn't get past. So Skipper is going to take the line. So Skipper takes the checkered flag. Haas takes second, with Goon agonisingly close behind them. RPM Dragos from 16th to 4th. A fantastic drive for the Alfa Romeo. Snell Henk in 5th. Jarno got 6th position in the end as well. Goey 7th. The Annoyed Gamer coming home in 8th, where they came out for the safety car restart after pitting the soft. So I know they're a bit annoyed because they were a bit higher up and they had a lot of opportunities today, but they didn't lose too much either in terms of where they were. So it's the AlphaTauri in 8th, Goran Potter in 9th. Goran Potter was found themselves in some good positions throughout, so I'm sure they all won't be too happy with finishing in 9th. Berlin Blues in 10th. RPM Dragos driver of the day. A big shout out there to RPM Dragos, starting in 6th, finishing in 4th. A fantastic drive for the Alfa Romeo. Shame not to see them on the podium, but here is the podium itself, and it's fantastic news for the Red Bulls. They are chasing the constructors. The constructors is quite tight, in fact, I believe. Yes, only less than 30 points in the constructors between AlphaTauri and Red Bull Racing, and AlphaTauri picking up the race. Red Bull picking up the race win today and a 3rd place as well. That should be some good points for the Red Bulls. Whilst AlphaTauri having a bad day at the office was Annoyed Gamer, so might be dropping some points of their current constructors lead to the Red Bulls. So yes, we've got Skipper takes the race win with Huss and Goon on the podium. RPM Dragos 4th, Snell Henk 5th, Jarno 6th, Going 7th, Annoyed Gamer 8th, Goran Potter 9th, Berlin Blues getting some good points there in 10th, up 5 positions, and Philip Hogston, the last finisher, in 11th position. That is all that we have got time for, though, yet again here at Racing League Hub. Do join us next week where we are racing in Brazil, the penultimate race, I believe, of the season. As ever, I have been the entity, and make sure you do check us out on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter as well, keeping you all informed with the latest ongoings at Racing League Hub, all the developments, be that for next season or the filler between the seasons with the Wednesday 5-lap madness. But until next week, it's another week at the top of the Drivers' Championship for Goon. So I'll leave you on that note. Have a great week, and I will see you next week in Brazil.